Hey, I'm Nick from Define Life, and I am here to talk about how to set goals in 2024. We're going to walk through how to set goals in both of the Define Life Planner and the Define My Day Planner so that you can figure out which one may be best for you, and if you already have them, the best mindset to have as you go through them. We're also going to talk about the Defined Life self-assessment. It's included in the starter pack. It's also available for existing users as a download within the introduction online course and within the user group as a free download there. You can also purchase it by itself on the website as a digital download for $8 if you don't want, or if you aren't a current customer, if you don't want to buy one of our planners yet. It also includes a very simple sample planner page in the back so that you can sort of get started with the process at a lower cost. Not that the planners are terribly expensive in the first place, but I know we all have different circumstances and we need to fit in the budget. So it's our way of kind of giving you the spectrum. Without any further ado, please let me know if you're watching. Leave a comment. Let me know who you are. And if you have any questions, let me know as we go through here. I'll pause and take a look at questions. If you have an example of goals that you want to put in your planner this coming year, let us know. Let us know what your goals are this year. And I think the more interaction we have, I think the more beneficial you'll find it. So while you're watching, if you want to throw on some comments, some questions, I'm happy to answer them for you while we're here. Hey, Connie, welcome. Happy to have you. I know I've seen you on here before. I'm glad you're sticking with us and enjoying these videos. If you have any questions as we go along, please let me know. All right. First things first, I want to go into what a lot of people are going to experience first when you purchase the starter pack. When you get the starter pack, what you're going to get is this download. And you can see I got reused toner, so I have this nice line through mine. When you purchase the starter, I can't talk. When you purchase the starter pack, you're going to get this as a free download, so that you'll be able to download this immediately when you purchase the starter pack. And so you'll get, the quick instructions on how to use this self-assessment. It's not hard at all. It gives you a little overview of the Define My Day process. It gives you some quick information about each of the categories of a healthy defined life: rest, focus, learning, routine, fun, family, romance, friendships, emotional, spiritual, physical, and financial. And what we do with this is it's a way to get our current status in these areas in our lives. And you can see the quick descriptions about what all of these are. I'm not going to go through all of that. That'll save that for a different session. We go more in depth with this. But this whole wheel right here is how we're going to rate ourselves. And what this does is it gives us a better understanding of where we are. So we can frame and plan goals for the next year, the next month, even maybe the next week, based on how we end up here. Because a lot of times we have goals that we intellectually want to attain. But when we have areas here that are lacking, we may, when we see that, understand that we need to shift our goals a little bit. So just going around the wheel here, I'm going to start with rest. I'm going to say, you know what, I've been getting a decent amount of rest. I'll rate that an 8. My focus, I could do better. We'll put it mid-range. Learning, I read regularly, but I could probably put a little bit more time into it. I'll put that here. My routine, man, I have a really good routine. I do get up at the right time every day. I have a solid morning routine. I have a good work process through my day. Always room for improvement, but I'm going to put that right there. Fun. I gotta tell you, I'm lately feeling low on the fun scale, so I'm gonna put this right here. And this is where you currently are. This is not where ideally you want to be. This is where you currently are. Fun for me over the summer, hanging out by the pool, hanging out with my boys. I'm way up here. This time of my life, I'm not having a whole lot of fun. In fact, maybe after doing this, I might want to call somebody up and say, hey, you want to hang out? Family, doing pretty decent with family. I've been spending some time with my boys. Romantic, down there. No romance. Friendships, I'd say I'm up there. Could be better. I could put more time into my friendships. But, time's limited. So this might even go that direction. Emotional, feeling pretty decent. Spiritual, maybe I'm a little conflicted. Physical, that's suffering right now. Financial, we'll put that right about here. Could do better, could be a lot worse. And so what you have here, ideally, if all of this is healthy, you have a solid circle all around the outside edge. But clearly, that's not where we are right now, right? So we're lacking. And if you look at this, where all the areas are, so practical, I'm doing okay. Could nudge these up a little bit. Over here in the personal life, man, I'm really letting this suffer, mainly in the physical area. And then here in the interpersonal, with family and friends, man, family I'm good because I'm basing it on my kids. But with fun, oh man, not really having a whole lot of fun. Romance down in the dumps. And friendships could be better. I might even be a little optimistic here. I know I have good friends. I'm just not seeing them a whole lot. So maybe if I'm being realistic, it's down here. So I got a lot of space to work over here. So what that says to me is that in the next month, I may want to put a little more effort over here compared to all the hard work I'm putting into other areas of my life. And so it also, gives you a quick area to put your mood in here, your current mood. So, currently I'm feeling pretty optimistic. I'm motivated. And I'd say, I don't know if I'm happy. I am calm, though. And then you can write something else over here. And this just gives you a snapshot where you are. And right a couple of months after we came out with this, Apple started doing this in their iPhones. Like it asks you to check in twice a day where your current mood is. And it'll give you a couple more options than this, and it'll plot that on a chart for you of those two, and it puts on there how many steps you've taken, I think, along with how many hours you've spent in the daylight. It's a really cool little tool in your health app on your Apple device that hits this part pretty good for you. But here you can see, man, on paper, what life is looking like right now and where we might want to put some effort. And for me, this tells me I need to put more effort into my leisure time, or I'm going to end up burning out eventually. Now, when do we do this? For me, I like to do this once a week. Work it into your process. If you're doing your weekly milestones or your monthly planning once a month, you're always doing that on a Sunday. This gives you that quick snapshot. It takes, you saw how quick, even me describing it, how quickly I went through here. If you can do this real quick, just to get a little snapshot of where you currently are, and as you go through this over and over, you can see if you're pushing it out more and getting a little bit more well-rounded and more healthy, you'll be able to see that progress. And that's real results. Again, absolutely free, is included if you've purchased any of our planners. It's automatically included in your purchase with the starter kit, but if you're a member of the user group, if you have one of the intro courses, it's in there too. So grab this, download it, print it out, do this once a week. Man, it really gives you some perspective, because I'll tell you, I would have gone into any goal setting session and immediately been thinking about work or immediately been thinking about things around the house. Now I see this and I'm like, man, I gotta take care of myself a little bit better. I gotta spend more time being social and work on my mental health, because that's gonna start to deteriorate after a while. So maybe once a week for this. I recommend once a week, but sometimes people don't always listen to me. And then here, what we did with this packet is give people a Define My Day sample page. So it gives you a real quick, you can print this out once a day and go through the Define My Day process if you're not already a customer. All right, so that's that. If you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Now let's get into the planner goal setting. We also have a goal setting packet that we provide at the beginning of each year. I will be doing a session on that, and I will tell you where to get the new download for that. In the meantime, I'm going to go through the goal setting process in each one of these books. So here you see we have the Define Life Planner and the Define My Day Planner, and we're going to go through what the differences between the two are. First things first, we're going to go with the Define Life Planner. It's the much more simple way to plan goals. What you have here, when you get into the Define Life Planner, the first 2 pages, you have the visual goal planning process, and you have the standard Define My Day page. If you go into the Define My Day book, you have a more complicated, more in-depth goal plan. It's not complicated, but it's more in-depth goal planning process. Asks you about your different areas. You also have other, habit tracking and ideal day planning, but you have the same page here as you do in the Define Life Planner. So the goal of the Define Life Planner is to get you used to this, and then when you're ready to get more in depth with your planning and habit tracking, when you want to take it to that next level, that Define My Day level, then you move on to this book. If you never want to get to that level, if you just want to maintain and get into a good rhythm and stay in a good rhythm, you can stay with the Define Life Planner. There's no judgment there. I think this is a great process to follow. It's just a matter of what works best for you. So with the Define Life Planner, we have this visual goal planning process, and the way we work through this, it's very quick. I don't want you to spend a ton of time on this process. I want you to spend like 2 or 3 minutes on it. I want you to get over here. I want you to develop this rhythm, this habit of getting focused on what's most important today. And as you get more into this process and you get days go by and you get into a couple of weeks of this process, you develop that rhythm, you get that momentum going, and then you might feel, as you're getting some clarity on the direction of your life, some clarity on your goals, as this starts to get a little bit less foggy, that's when you might want to move on to Define My Day. So here, when we talk about what defines me here in the very top part of this page, we work our way down, and we start here and we say, well, what defines me? What's the most important thing in my life? Maybe it's work, your career, maybe it's your kids, your grandkids, maybe it's your own personal health, your own personal peace. Whatever defines you, maybe you're giving, like maybe you're a great piece of your community. If that's the case, then you put all that right here. Now, you have a 12-week plan that is going to stem from these things. So for me, my kids are always up here, right? I'm a business owner, that's always up here too. So down here, I'm going to put things that are related to those things. I may put more, like all 3 might be part of business, maybe one's kids, maybe one's business. It's just, maybe my health is something, based on our assessment that I just did, maybe having fun, enjoying my friendships is something that I want to put here. So, I might put on this page, grow the business, spend quality time with my kids, and schedule 4 friend get-togethers, right? And then that way I have all my bases covered. And then in the next 4 weeks, I'm just breaking it down into a more solid short-term goal. So in this page, or in this part of the page right here, in the next 4 weeks, I will, if those are the 3 things that I'm talking about, growing the business, spending quality time with my kids, and having, say, 4, in the next 12 weeks, 4 times with my friends, I probably need one outing with my friends here, right? Maybe that's not enough. Maybe once I get down there, I'm like, well, 1 in 4 weeks, that doesn't sound like a lot. I can erase and change it up here and come back down and fill this in. This is a workbook. This is something that we can play with and find what best works for us. With my kids, maybe, I have them 2 weekends. Maybe I want to plan a weekend trip. Maybe I want to, make football games, watching football on TV special with them. In 4 weeks, I will, start a new course in the business, something like that. Distractions that could lead me off course. I'm already thinking about the distractions that I'm going to put over here, right? So here I'm thinking about what pulls me off course. Well, I'll tell you what, to be honest with you, if I'm trying to spend more time with friends and family, work can pull me off of that. So one of the distractions is going to be checking work while I'm doing something with my friends or my kids. So here, work during off work times might be a distraction for me. Maybe it's getting stuck scrolling through my phone. Maybe it is spending time with people that aren't my friends. Maybe it's spending time with people, we all have those friend groups where you have the one that drains you. Maybe that's not the one we want to spend time with. Maybe that's the one that's been keeping us away from all the other ones. Your specific situation is yours, but here it's just sort of gaining awareness of the things that pull us away from our most important goals that are on this. This is not meant to be super detailed. We just want to do this very quickly. We just want to get through here. Our main goal is to get to this page and just flip through this as quickly as we can. And then as we get to the end of the week, this is the end of the month. You have a little bit more detail. Here's on your way to the campsite, or on the way to the base camp, and then we're at the campsite at the end of every week, and then the distractions that lead me off course. At the end of the week, I'm going to show you real quick here. At the end of the week, we have this quick check-in. It's this week I will. Top 3 things I'm going to do this week. I accomplished these 3 things last week, and the distractions that lead me off course again on this page here. And then we just go through a regular Define My Day process. It's just about quickly getting in, taking care of it, and moving on. I don't want you to get too hung up with this book into the nitty-gritty. I just want you to develop that healthy movement forward, growing the mindfulness, growing the focus. Now, as we get to Define My Day, we get a little bit more detailed, right? So we're setting affirmations. We are maybe reading the instructions. We're in here, we're talking about this month's goals. And right here, we're getting into it. My overall personal goals for this month could be spending more time with friends. If we're going to go back to look at our assessment page, personal here, fun, family, romantic, friendships. Maybe spiritual is a little bit low, physical is low, but for physical, we're going to go into health, right? So here, looking at this sheet and then bringing it over here. Personal goals. So fun and romance, a little bit on the downside, right? Maybe getting into a new activity, maybe taking up pickleball, maybe getting on a dating app, maybe planning some fun activities with some friends just to get out of the house. Maybe it's randomly talking to strangers just to say hi, right? It could even be, volunteering and things like that, something that, gets you more out in the community. So looking at this here, okay, overall personal goals, I'm going to say take up a new hobby, get into pickleball, something like that. Now, my professional goals for this month, a little bit more detail here because generally there's more to do. We spend a lot of time at work. So here you have your professional goals, whatever they might be. If you're not currently working, if you're retired, if you're a stay-at-home mom or a father, this can be that sort of thing. So, if your job is maintaining a household, and sometimes that ends up that way for me here, it can just certainly be, I need to schedule pest inspectors or pest protection in my house. I need to plan dinners for the next couple of weeks. I need to maybe get a better meal plan to make sure my household is healthy. Maybe I need to buy a new dishwasher. Something, like whatever that is. On the professional side of things, that's easy, right? You have goals at work, whether it's, achieving sales or, whatever, finishing projects, something like that. That's pretty easy. Health goals, we're looking over here. Health goals, it could be physical, spiritual, emotional health. Maybe you want to start with a new therapist. Maybe you need to start exercising 5 times a week. Maybe you want to cut out candy. Maybe, it's a weight you want to attain. Or maybe a weight you want to lift. Whatever that might be here. Try to be as specific as possible. And then the relationship goals. Heading back down here, we already kind of talked about it. But relationship goals, for me, I get a little specific. It's not about creating new relationships for me here. Now, you can define it how you want. That's the flexibility built in here. But for me, the relationship aspect of it is like the existing relationships I have. What are my goals there? So, in a romantic relationship, it may be setting up a certain amount of dates. Setting aside quality time to spend with each other. If there's something that I need to work on, being more present in conversation, having dinner together regularly, having coffee. Like I know somebody that routinely has a coffee date with his wife every morning. They sit outside and talk. I think that's beautiful. But it's one of those things that he had to be mindful that, like, my mornings are flying by. We don't even talk to each other. We're out the door. So now we're mindful about the fact that we're going to have coffee together. With my kids, it's, I will schedule X amount of activities in the month. Maybe I'm getting them signed up for sports or activities in that regard. Whatever it may be, try to be specific down here with a set number of goals. Now, the pushback always on relationships is, well, you shouldn't have to do that in a healthy relationship. And my response is, you absolutely have to. Everybody knows the experience of a relationship that just somehow deteriorated. And whether it's with your kids or your parents or your spouse or your friends, you don't know where the time went. I have on my daily disciplines, I have both of my boys' names. So that every morning I'm reminded, make sure you're paying attention. Like I have a sort of like a criteria in my head that I have to be able to check that off. It's being present in conversations. It's when they're talking to me about some stuff. And, kids talk about weird stuff sometimes. Like, this is not interesting. But it's important to them. So, like, to give that focused time to them is for me. And if I feel like one day I didn't pay attention to my kid, maybe for a valid reason, I don't get to check that off. And what happens is when I'm looking at it the next day, then I can see that, okay, like I know I kind of didn't pay attention to him when he was trying to talk to me about this thing. So today, because I have time, especially, I'm going to make a better effort to pay attention and be there with him and be present in that moment. And then the books I will read this month and who else will benefit from my progress. And those are just all, a way to kind of ground you in what's going on. What we're doing here, this month's goals, this is 1 month of where we're going to go here in this book. There's a larger scale that I want to talk to you about in regard to 2024 and where we're going ahead with that. I have a goal setting process that's larger, that's part of a packet that we have that I'm going to be talking about in the first week of January, so next week. And we'll go through that entire packet here live and just that process and what that process looks like. And what that helps do is take the list of crazy things that we have in life and brings them down to the things that we want to focus on for the year, and then what we want to put in that goals page in our Define My Day planner. It's a hard process to go through. Like, goal planning is always hard, especially if you're not certain what tomorrow is going to bring. And if that's the case, then you need it even more, right? Like the more cloudy, the more murky, the more we need to put our attention toward it, because we need to find our way. We need to get that fog to lift. We need to find our way toward where we want to go. And that's why the Defined Life Planner has such a simple process, because it's hard to get into detail if you're not quite clear to that degree. And so the best thing we can do is just list our values and the few things that we want to do to edge towards a more clear goal to set in this process. And then once we get clear, we can move on to define my day, but it still doesn't have to be completely clear. I know over the years with Define My Day, I've been very murky. And the more I've worked on it, the clearer it got. And I found that I was working towards goals that weren't important to me in the end, that I should not have wasted time on. And it even happens like this year, it's happened with me where there have been business goals and I thought something was going to be valuable to me in the business and I worked on it. And then at the end of it, I was like, oh man, that was a big waste of time. It sucks, but you learn from it, especially if you can write it down. It becomes more clear and it's not just like busy work. And you're not looking back and saying, well, what did I do for the past 3 weeks? Now I can see it, right? It's in my book. I can see it. Where a lot of times time flies, even today, like what did I do all day today? If you write it down, then and you're more mindful of it and you're more aware of where you've been spending your time and energy. So that's the importance of this whole process and why we want to go through this as religiously as possible. I know sometimes we miss a day, and we talked about how in my book that I pulled out from last year, I missed a lot of days, probably more than half because of the stress and everything that I was going through. But the goal is to be as mindful as possible in this process so that we build this healthy routine of knowing where our time and energy is going, like connecting the dots. I want to go here, and this is how I'm going to get there. And so the Defined Life Planner is going to be the easy way for you to start that process before you get overwhelmed with doing anything else. So, how are we feeling? Anybody have any questions? That's about all I have for this. Talked for about a half an hour. I appreciate you hanging out with me. So if there's nothing else, I'm going to go on and maybe have some fun. Maybe I need to go contact somebody and say, hey, you want to go grab a beer and watch a little bit of football? I might do that. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. I got no comments in the video at the moment. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Define your day to define your life, and I will talk to you very soon. See ya.